So hello everyone, this is lecture 73 for the mathematical physics. In the last lecture we were discussing about the Fourier transform. I told you what is Fourier transform is, where we convert any function from its time domain to the frequency domain. And we were discussing some non-periodic and periodic functions. So I told you about this periodic function. So if you transform this for the Fourier transform, you will get a discrete frequencies. So I told you that this is your real and the even function. Now if you do this for the sine one, then you know for the cos you have formula exponential I theta plus exponential minus I theta divided by 2. For the sine it will be exponential I theta minus exponential minus I theta divided by 2 iota. So you will get the imaginary function in the Fourier transform. So this will be like this. And when you transform you will get this f minus f naught and a plus f naught with coefficient a by 2 and a minus a by 2. So for the f naught plus f naught you will get minus a by 2, spike at minus a by 2, and for the minus f naught you will get a spike at a by 2. So that's how you will get a odd function. So this is odd because for f naught is minus a by 2 and a by 2, so this is kind of odd function and the imaginary. So that's why you must remember this, that for the sine you will get imaginary and odd function by the Fourier transform, and for the cos you will get the real and the even function. So let's say if we have this kind of function, then how can we transform this? So it is 1 plus 2 cos 2 pi f naught t. So for f1 it will be del f only, so it will be a spike at only a single point. And for this cos we already find this value. For the cos it will be f minus f naught and f plus f naught. So for this complete function you will get a spike at these three. Now this coefficient is 2, so a by 2 will give you 1, so that's why you are getting the same spike. Okay, so it is 1 here, and for this also you will get a by 2 as 1, so spikes will be same. So f naught minus f naught and 0. So this will be in the Fourier transform defined as this. So you will get these three frequencies. Now if you have 1 plus 2 cos 2 pi k f naught t, now this k is varying from 1 to 3, then which type of spikes you will get? So see, for the k equal to 1 you will get the same, this minus f naught and f naught. For k equal to 2 you will get 2 f naught and minus 2 f naught, because in place of this you will get f minus 2 f naught and f plus 2 f naught you will get. So for the f equal to f naught this will be defined, and for f equal to minus 2 f naught this will be defined. So for the 2 you will get this kind, these two verbs, this one and this one. And for the k equal to 3 you will get 3 f naught and the minus 3 f naught. So this will be your spikes in the Fourier transform. So for this kind of function you can define this. So for any value you can define and you will get your transform. So we can generalize this. So see, if we have now there is one more kind of function. If you have now we have equidistance impulse function input inside in the time frame. We have the equidistance impulse function, means it will be impulsive function, means you will get a signal like impulses at equidistance and you need to transform this. So the transform of this kind of function, you can see here it is a delta function, means it will be pulse. So for n equal to 1 it will be t equal to t, for n equal to 2 it will be t equal to 2t, and n equal to minus 1 you will get t equal to minus t. So that's why you are getting a spike at t minus 2t 2t 3t minus 3t. So this is defined as this. Now you need to take the Fourier transform of this. So this will be equal to this 1 upon t del f minus n by t. Now let's assume 1 by t as f naught. Then if you have f naught here, so n equal to 1 you will have f value as f naught, for n equal to 2 you will have 2 f naught, for n equal to minus 1 you have minus f naught. So again for the equidistance impulse function, the transform will also be equidistance impulse. So that is a special case. You must remember this type of cases and this type of cases. We are discussing some special cases for the Fourier transform. Question will be based on them. So must remember, impulse equidistance function will give you impulse equidistance Fourier transform. Now let's say we have a Gaussian function. So there is a special property for the Fourier transform, that Fourier transform of a Gaussian function will also be a Gaussian function. So st defined as under root alpha by pi exponential minus alpha t square. So this is a Gaussian function. Now take the Fourier transform, use the formula. This is your st, exponential minus I 2 pi ft. This will be given by this. Now see, here we'll use the result. We already defined this result, exponential minus ax square plus bx dx equal to under root pi by a exponential b square by 4a. So in place of a we have alpha, in place of b we have minus 2 pi f and iota. So this will be here. So we will just remove, in place of b we will write the b form and a we will write alpha. So we'll get this form, and this will be equal to exponential minus pi square f square by alpha. Now see, this is again a Gaussian function, because this kind of function is Gaussian function. This is some constant, this pi square some constant, and f square in place of t square we have f square and alpha. means Fourier transform is also a Gaussian function. So remember this property that Fourier transform of a Gaussian function is always a Gaussian function. Now there are some more special function you must know. So these are signum function and the unity step function. So you know what is signum function? So we also call it Heaviside function. So SSG and T is defined as for t greater than 0 it will be 1, for t less than 0 it will be minus 1. So this kind of curve we get for the signum function. You already studied it many times. So now you must know how can we write this into a unit step function. So what is a unit step function? Let me define that for you first. It is like it will be 1 for t greater than 0 and 0 for the t less than 0. This is your unit step function. And if you define for the minus t, it will be u minus t equal to 1 for the minus t greater than 0 means t less than 0. So u minus t will be defined as this. Because for t less than 0 it will be plus value and it will be 1. And for t greater than 0 it will be minus value, it means be 0. Means this is same thing is written here but in terms of minus t. Now see the signum function, if we take the mod of this, you will get the all positive value and integration of this signum function is not defined. So this area will be infinite, that's why integration is not defined. So we must make it finite, only then we can solve this or we can find the Fourier transform for this after making this finite. So how can we make this finite? First you must know that how can we write signum function in terms of the unit step function. So signum function t equal to ut minus u minus t. So this signum function is always equal to this. Now see ut for t greater than 0 this will be 1 and for u minus t for t greater than 0 will be 0. So you will get 1 again. So that is the property for t greater than 0. Now for t less than 0, ut for t less than 0 is 0 and u minus t for t less than 0 is 1. So you will get minus 1 here. So that was the signum function. Means we can write our signum function in this form. So now we need to make this finite. So how can we do that? Now this is your unit ut. We can plot this ut as this. For t greater than 0 this will be 1. For t less than 0 this will be. For u minus t this can be defined in this way. So this is your unit step function in two way. Now we need to make this finite. So how can we do that? We will multiply this ut with the exponential minus at where a tends to 0. Because see if a tends to 0 and you put the a equal to 0 this will give you ut again. Here also we need to make this finite, so we need to decrease it exponentially. So that's why we are multiplying this factor EAT where a tends to 0, u minus t. So again for a equal to 0 this will give you same value, so we can multiply this. And by multiplying this factor will make this complete function signum function as finite. So we have now unit function in this form and this form. So we can write this ut minus u minus t as exponential, means exponential minus at ut minus exponential at u minus t. So let's do this. Now signum function can be written in this form. So we did this to make this finite, because see if we do this, then for t greater than 0 this will decrease and for t less than 0 this will decrease and this will become finite. And again things are as it is, we did them. So if a tends to 0 then this will again turn out to be ut minus u minus t, and that was our signum function. So we didn't make any much change, we just make this finite. Now we can find the Fourier transform of this, because now this function is finite. So Fourier transform of this function we need to take the separately the Fourier transform of each one. So for this first one we will get e minus at ut and limit will be minus infinity to infinity, and this is defined, ut is defined for t greater than 0 only, so it will be 0 to infinity and ut will be 1 here. So we'll get this, and you know how to find this one. So it will give us 1 upon a plus iota 2 pi f. We get it after integrating this and putting the limit. You will get this value definitely. And now find for the Fourier transform for this one. It will be 1 upon a minus iota 2 pi f. And now this minus this will give you Fourier transform for complete signum function. So this minus this. Now see, we can put the a tends to 0, so a will be 0. Now this minus minus will become plus, so it will be 2 upon I 2 pi f. So 2 will cancel out, you will get Fourier transform of signum function as 1 upon iota pi f. Now see, you have the Fourier transform of signum function already. You must remember this result, and you can find the Fourier transform of a unit step function also. So this is the relation between unit step function and the signum function. Ut is 1 upon 2 1 plus signum t. So it is like if t is greater than 0 this will be 1, so it will be 1 plus 1 2 divided by 2 and you will get 1. So it is ut equal to 1. For t less than 0 this will be minus 1, so you will get 0. So that is the unit step function, so that's why you can write this in this form. So Fourier transform of this will be equal to Fourier transform of this. So you can just write 1 plus, it is 1 upon 2 plus 1 upon I pi f means first you need to take the Fourier transform of this and Fourier transform of this. The Fourier transform of signum function you already know, this is 1 upon 1 iota of pi f, and for the 1 upon 2, this one will give you delta p. So that is the, we already know this result. It is how we can write for a constant value the Fourier transform, that is our Dirac delta function. So this will be a Fourier transform for the unit step function. Now let's see some properties of the Fourier transform. So properties are like, first linearity. What is the linearity means? If you find the Fourier transform of xt as xf and yt as yf, so xt plus yt and Fourier transform of this will be given by xf plus yf. So you must remember this. Now symmetry, second property. If you find the Fourier transform of st as capital Hf, and now you have some function capital H which is in function of t, means in place of f you will write t, then Fourier transform of that function will be equal to replace t with minus f. So you must remember this result, very important. Let's take an example of this. If you have this function, now the Fourier transform of this we already know, exponential minus pi square f square by alpha, we already find this result. Now see, in place of f replace t, so you will get minus pi square t square alpha, so this will be equal to replace t with minus f, so it will give you f square again, so under root alpha by pi exponential minus alpha p f square. So Fourier transform of this will give you this result and this will give you this result. So we use this property. So the Fourier transform will always follow these properties. Now there is time scaling. What is time scaling? Means if we expand the time scale in the st function, then what happens to the Fourier transform? If you multiply with some scalar in the t, then you will get scaling, means expansion of time scale. So let's multiply with k. So you will get compression of the frequency scale, 1 upon k hf by k. So always remember, if you multiply with k here, so the Fourier transform will be 1 upon mod k hf by k. So this is an important result. Let's see what is this significance of this. So k is some scalar, time scale expansion, kt means expansion of time scale, because it is expanding. It will correspond to frequency scale compression. So frequency scale will compress, you see f by k, and amplitude will increase. So let's see what this meaning. So we have some function st, that is a for mod t is less than t naught, and it will be 0 for mod t greater than t naught. So if you plot this for mod t less than t naught, it will be a, means it should be minus t naught to t naught, it will be a, and for the mod t greater than t naught means t is greater than, means for these values and for these values you will get 0. So you can plot this in this way, and you already know the Fourier transform of this function, we discussed this. So that will be this one, 2a t naught sine 2 pi t naught f divided by 2 pi t naught f, and the curve was this value was 2a t naught, because this will be 1 for f tends to 0. Now you have this curve. Now let's multiply with, means this first function as divided by 1 upon 2, means in place of k we have 1 upon 2. Let's find the h for t by 2. So what happened for h t by 2? Now when you replace this t with t by 2, so it will be t will be less than 2 t naught, mod t should be less than 2 t naught, so this time scale will expand, and for h t by 2 you will get 2 t naught here and minus 2 t naught here. So see, this time scale is expanded. Now what happens to the Fourier transform? So it is like 1 upon k, and k is 1 upon 2, so here you will have, it is 1 upon 2, so you will get 4 here, so 4a t naught, and here you will get f 1 upon 2, so it will give you 4 pi here and 4 here. So it will be, means it will multiply with 2. So what happens? See, now if this will be 4 pi t naught f, now from the previous lecture you must remember this should be equal to n pi, and from there you will get that it will be n upon 4 t naught, means from here you can see that 4 pi t naught f should be equal to n pi to make this curve 0. So there you will get for all the n values as 1 upon 4 t naught, means n upon 4 t naught. For n equal to 1 it will be 1 upon 4 t naught, for n equal to 2 it will be 2 upon 4 t naught, and for minus 1 it will be minus 1 4 t naught. So in place of 2 t naught now you have 4 t naught. Here you have this 2, now you will get the factor of 4. So see, this scale is compressed, means first you have the 1 upon 2, now you have 1 upon 4 here, 0. So this is compressed, and see, this amplitude is increased, because here you have the 4a t naught. For the f tends to 0 you have 4a t naught, and here you are having 2a t naught. So amplitude is increased and scale is compressed, frequency scale is compressed. So for the time scale expansion you are getting frequency scale compressed and amplitude increased. So you must remember this result and this one. Now reverse is also true. If this is frequency scale scaling, means if this is your Fourier transform st to hf, and you multiply the frequency, means you expand the frequency scale this time with some scalar k, then it will lead to the compression of the time scale, that means 1 upon k st by k. So this it is just reverse of this. So must remember these results, and this scaling also. Now there is time shifting. So what is the meaning of time shifting? It is that if you already know that Fourier transform of st is hf, and you need to find this value at some t naught, so it is t minus t naught. This is shift of time, so this will be given by exponential minus I 2 pi t naught f and hf initial. So must remember this result. So let's take an example. If this is your st and this is your Fourier transform, and you need to find t minus t naught, then it will be exponential I 2 pi t naught f, and the hf is this one, so exponential minus pi square f square divided by alpha. So must remember these results. Basically questions are asked from these properties. So this is end for this one, st to hf. Now we will study this st to h omega and fx to fk. So these transform we will study in the next coming lectures. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone.